Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello, I'm back.
And it wouldn't be a day without a daily dose of dismal Disney.
Apparently.
So we're going to do
And Angry Gingers.
Angry Gingers, yeah, look at this. We're going to talk about the situation with Turning Red, the Pixar movie that is being dumped onto Disney Plus unceremoniously. Apparently, Pixar animators are not happy about it. They're talking to the media. The media is keeping their identities a secret because last time they complained about Luca, they complained from their Twitter accounts, I believe. So that didn't go over very well. So I don't blame them for being angry.
No, we said that when we announced that this happened. We said they're probably going to be upset, and we can understand why.
Yeah, and I knew it was going to happen. And sure enough, there was a story in Insider today where they got some quotes from a couple of them. And we're gonna talk about this.
Yes.
Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants. Guys, over 251,000, almost 252,000. Like 100 away, something like that.
Woohoo!
So thank you so much for the support. We do talk about animation, talk about the animation industry. We talk a lot about Disney, having worked in and around the company for a number of years in different capacities. We do have friends in the animation industry. Don't know anyone currently at Pixar, but I can sympathize with them.
No, but hey, if you ever want to drop us a line to say a few things, please do.
We'll keep it anonymous. We always do.
We always do. We always protect our sources.
Anyway, so yeah, we knew when this was announced that Disney was going to drop Turning Red on Disney Plus instead of releasing it theatrically, that there probably would be some pushback, because this is the third Pixar movie in a year and a half that has just been dumped onto Disney Plus. And they didn't even get premiere access, so there's no upcharge, no limited theatrical release, nothing. And I think after Luca, they were like, well, we complain. They'll, third time's a charm. No.
Sorry. We said as soon as we found out, we're like, oh my God, they were so mad before. They're going to be livid now.
Yeah, they're actually going to look like this. So yeah.
I model for that.
So this is coming from Insider. They apparently did an interview with a couple of Pixar employees. They're really, really, really not happy with it.
Yeah, I'm glad they keep their names out of it.
Yeah. So these are some of the quotes. It's safe to say that we're all feeling extremely disappointed. One Pixar staffer who agreed to speak on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to talk about the matter.
Yeah, and there'll probably be retaliation if they knew they said something.
Yeah, well, we know how that is. I mean, we know firsthand how that is. Disney will actually lock down people and tell them. And I'm sure because look, this happened with Luca too. When Luca came out, they were okay. Soul was a one-off. They were kind of like, okay, well, we get it. The pandemic
happened. Trying to give somebody a gift for Christmas.
Right. Okay, fine.
Theaters are closed. What else are you going to do?
Yeah, but Luca, and then, to add insult to injury, it wasn't just that they were dumping the Pixar movies on the Disney Plus. It was that Disney's own, Walt Disney Animation Studios features were getting theatrical releases.
That was it. Raya did, and so did Encanto. I mean, they weren't out in the theater very long. I mean, Encanto's still out there, but I mean, they weren't like, they were put on Disney Plus pretty soon after.
Yeah.
With Raya, it was one of those premiere access
It was
deals.
premiere access with Raya, yeah.
But then why do they keep making Pixar be the freebie?
That's the problem, because it used to be, again, we said before, it used to be with Pixar that the Pixar releases were the most bankable. They were the most well-received critically, usually. Most Pixar movies, in the 90-somethings on Rotten Tomatoes, very well-received movies. And they had two in a row. And they're like, well, they wouldn't do it to us again. And they had the trailer out. Hey, it's coming out March 11th. By then, we'll be through the pandemic. Yeah, right.
What's so funny to me is how long have they been touting writing the Pixar way and all this other crap? It's almost like they didn't like the fact that Pixar overshadowed them. So I kind of want to wonder, are they doing this so that they somehow minimize it to make them to elevate themselves?
I have theories. These are just theories. We'll talk about that. And I think it.
We didn't discuss this ahead of time. I was just thinking it.
Yeah, I do think that there's the Lasseter factor.
Oh yeah.
I think that the brouhaha over John Lasseter has left the Pixar brand more damaged in some people's eyes at Disney.
Some people's eyes at Disney. I think in general audiences, they know the name
care.
Pixar.
Yeah, they don't even know any of this drama happened. But we'll talk about that because John Lasseter is hiring over at Skydance. just so you know, guys, if you're not afraid to work with John Lasseter, you can get a job. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
So they go on to say, until today, we all thought Turning Red would be our return to the big screen, and everyone at the studio was so excited about.
Sure, I feel so bad for them
about it being this film in particular. It was quite a blow. It does look fun, you know. Another staffer who also agreed to speak anonymously on Sunday told Insider it was a shock that the movie slated to come out in March got the straight to Disney Plus treatment. Sucks, but I get it.
Here's the thing, though. When they had, like, Shang-Chi, they announced at the one meeting that they were doing it theatrically because they get to a place you can't undo it or you can't change it.
Yeah.
But they changed this a couple months out.
Yeah. So, I mean, it didn't even get premiere access. That's what gets me. Like, I mean, I could see releasing it at home, but at least, you know, upcharge it or something, because how it comes across at this point is Pixar content isn't worth paying for.
Yeah, Pixar content, but they're going to tell you that pat in the head. It's because we're giving it away to free to drive subscribers. You're so important. But if that was the case, you know, why didn't they just get premiere access or something, you know, for like even like a month and then say, okay, well, it'd be for everybody after that.
Yeah.
Meet them in the middle or something.
Well, here another staffer said, with Omicron infection so high, I haven't heard anyone say the decision is wrong. One source familiar with the inner workings at Disney and Pixar told Insider movies like Soul and Luca playing exclusively on the service has been the huge upside for Disney Plus in its efforts to land more subscribers and keep existing ones. Now, they are competing with former Disney animators who have left to go to places like Netflix. Well, actually, mostly Netflix. You know, we have Glenn Keane, I think. Glenn Keane, who
over the moon,
yeah, Disney legend making movies for Netflix.
Yeah.
At this point, we had the team that worked on Klaus coming from Disney.
Some of them did
making better movies than Disney for Netflix.
They deserve that. I said it before. I'll say it again. They deserve that Oscar over Toy Story. Was it 4 or 5?
I don't know. I can't keep track.
4.
I think Toy Story 5 is Buzz Lightyear. That'd be Toy Story 0, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so it is interesting that now Netflix, of course, they kind of figure these movies were never planned to release theatrically. I think Klaus actually did have a limited theatrical
run. Did it?
Run.
I don't know.
I think it might have.
Sorry, I was just busy stuck in my head being you said about Buzz Lightyear being 5. I was thinking, no, it's 0.5 because the prequel.
There it is. It's 0.5.
It's 0.5.
Toy Story 1/2.
There you go.
Strangely enough, Lion King, because I talked about the cheapquels.
Oh, yeah,
with Disney. I actually did like Lion King 2, and I liked Lion King 1.5.
He really did, actually.
They were the two Disney cheapquels that actually felt like they weren't terrible. You look at the other ones, and they were pretty horrible. But that's kind of where, Pixar, it feels like Pixar is right now. I mean, at least from the outside looking in, I understand why they're doing it. But I'm also like, if it were me and I worked there and I watched, again, if it was a case of all the animated features, got dropped on Disney Plus, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense because they're not going to bring in that much money anyway. They're not. But the fact that it's just the Pixar stuff for the most part,
Yeah, because if they're worried about Omicron, how come they have other things coming out?
That's a really good question. They can put Marvel movies in the theater. They can put, So yeah, so I would be a little disheartened, and I would sit there and I'd think to myself, is Pixar not as important to Disney as they used to be? And then I would think to myself, like, well, we've just had a change at the top, and the pandemic is reshuffling the deck. Do I have job security here? If they're just gonna have us relegated to making.
People do have job security because they've said they need the fodder for the streaming service. So you probably do.
The fodder. That's a great way to.
That's how you treat them.
Yeah.
I'm like they need Pixar to drive because they just said they drive subscribers. They need them. So I think you have job security. It's just that are they going to be happy? Because it seems like being theatrically released really matters to some of these people. Are they going to be happy? Not having that theatrical release, because I mean, some people, they don't care. Like, they're just happy to make the movies, they're happy to be at Pixar, they're glad the movies are getting out there, and they're totally content to do that, and that's fine. But some people really want that theatrical release under their belt. So I mean, yeah, and
again, historically, Pixar movies perform very, very well. And it's just that everything is up in the air right now. And I don't know. The distinction between a theatrical movie and a streaming movie, is disappearing for sure. Because there are some animated features that, obviously are being designed for streaming first. And if they get a theatrical release as a bonus, that's great. But for the most part, they knew that Over the Moon was going to be a Netflix thing.
Now on Netflix, you could argue that sometimes you get more views than you would have if it was theatrical.
That is true because again, there's no barrier to entry. You don't have to travel somewhere. You don't have to pay per ticket. It's just part of the streaming service.
And how many people subscribe to Netflix? A bunch.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, in many different countries. Yeah. So you could argue that if they're running it all over the place, that it could get seen more than if it was in the theater.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, in regards to Over the Moon, which I haven't seen yet. They actually were calling it more Disney than Disney, some of the reviews.
Well, imagine that.
When you've got Glenn Keane. So I want to put out there, and again, Klaus, one of our favorite animated features of the last couple of years, an amazing, amazing movie that should have been a Disney-branded movie, but it isn't.
Well, it's probably better off that it wasn't.
Yeah, Disney's definitely...
Again, Netflix.
Yeah, it's Netflix. So John Lasseter... is over at Skydance now after Disney pushed him out for nebulous reasons. They're hiring. I just want to put this out there for those of you who might be unhappy.
It could be they're hiring. Some people argue they're hiring because no one will work for them. That could be what some people are gonna argue.
They'll argue that, but you know what?
Well, apparently in Madrid, you can go get hired too.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've got some people working with John Lasseter right now that I'll be honest, I wasn't there. I don't know. I don't even know John Lasseter. But if things went down the way that they tried to spin it, things went down, I don't think there are certain people that would work with him. Jane Fonda's working with him. I don't think if she thought John Lasseter was a creep, I don't think she'd be working with him. Just saying. Saying. Because that seems to be like part of her deal.
I don't know. We don't know what happened. We weren't there. But whatever happened, Disney got rid of him. He's at Skydance. They're doing stuff, and now they're hiring. That's the point, right?
Yeah. If I were Disney, I would be concerned because there are so many places right now hiring animators, trying to beef up their animated content all over the place. Mm-hmm. You're going to lose your top talent, especially if they feel like they've been kicked in the
and Pixar, Pixar, they literally base things on how Pixar wrote things and did things, and Disney themselves were changing some of the ways they did things to be more Pixar-esque in the story and how it's done. I'm like, to me, it just seems like if they're already taking everything from Pixar they wanted, then I'm just waiting for them to say they don't need Pixar. But the name means something.
Yeah. Okay. So that is where I was going to go with this. That's my thought process on this. Cause, Chapek is talking about how they're kind of, reorganizing things and going forward. They want to refocus their creative efforts.
I understand that, but I don't think they're going to get rid of the name Pixar because Pixar peer, Pixar means something. They're going to keep the Pixar name. The brand doesn't mean they're going to keep a separate animation unit. Yeah. I mean, they could very easily consolidate Pixar and Disney and just release some movies under the Pixar brand if it's a Toy Story thing or a Cars thing. What gets me is they literally have the Pixar Pier at Disneyland. Yep. They literally have, Toy Story Land at Walt Disney World. They have all these different things geared at Pixar. It was like Pixar Place and stuff before, geared at Pixar. And now they're just like, you're streaming only. Yeah, it's a huge, kick to the crotch. I mean, for sure. I'd be demoralized. I mean, I guess as long as you're getting paid, most people don't care. But I think a lot of people went to work for Pixar thinking like this is Pixar. It's Pixar. It's like, Pixar at one point was considered bigger than Disney. I mean, it was like, that's where you went. Pixar, oh my God. Yeah, that's it. That is the absolute top of the food chain in animation. But now Disney's just mining it for, even some of their shows they have on Disney Plus. It's like, the people at Pixar, they're giving them, they can do these little shorts and they're putting them on Disney Plus. It's basically, Pixar's been relegated to fodder for Disney Plus. Pretty much. And I do think that there will probably be more consolidation. And Pixar is just, it's going to be like everything else at Disney. They're going to have all these brands that they're going to use, but it doesn't really mean what it used to be. It just reminds me of when they had, back in the 90s, they had the studios that did the feature animation and they had the studios that did the direct-to-DVD or the specials or the cartoon. They had the 1,000,001 cartoon shows they had on Disney Channel. Yeah. They had the Lilo and Stitch cartoon and everything else our kids loved. TV animation. Right. Disney Toon. And I kind of feel like Pixar's being kind of relegated to the streaming service current year version of that. Yeah, pretty much. But they're better.
Oh, they're way
too good
better.
for that. Anyway.
They are too good for that. And if I were working there, I would realize, yeah, we're too good for this. Let's go someplace else where they actually want to make art and not just fodder for the streaming service. Because eventually, if the numbers don't come up on the streaming side, because Disney's kind of flatlined, do you really think they're going to give you the green light to spend a feature-length movie budget on an animated cartoon for a streaming service?
Probably
long
not.
term, shorts, just a bunch of shorts.
Side note: I actually do want to see this because I want to. I just feel kinship here, and I kind of want to see how much of I can feel the kinship in this movie.
Feel the panda.
No, I'm just saying. Get mad, get bitchy, turn into a giant red panda, calm by brushing. You know, it's so me.
It's your spirit animal.
So me.
So we're going to have to watch this movie. All right. Going to wrap it up?
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.